I'm going to show you how to find the successional planning tool. So I go to Google and type in successional planning spreadsheet, and if you put the word sugar loaf you should find it straight away for sure. And it comes up as the first result, and it's a blog post about using this planting spreadsheet tool. Hopefully you've been through the post. What I'm going to do is demonstrate now how to use the spreadsheet. So scroll down, and you can see here at the bottom is a link to the file. So you need to click that and get it to download. Now I'm using Google Chrome and it's asking, well, it's loading it in the docs viewer, which I don't want. If you're using a different browser it might not do this, but basically we want it to download to the computer. So I'm going to click the download button. So now it's downloaded. Click it to open it. Basically we want to download it and open it in Excel. Okay, so that's what the spreadsheet looks like when you start off with. It's empty. Now down the bottom there are tabs. So the first tab is labeled Master, and then we have tab 2016-17, 2017-18, which is just a copy of the master. Now part of this video is to demonstrate how to use this tool in Excel, and I'm basically going to give you some basics of how to use Excel in case you don't really know how to use Excel. So first of all I'm going to just fix up the master and then make a copy of the master to become my planning sheet for 2017-18. This was done in September last year. So basically this tab is defunct now, and I will go ahead right now and delete it. So I'm just right clicking on it and choosing delete. Asks me if I want to delete it, and yes I do. Now in the last tab there is a veggie list. So that's all the lists of the veggies that I can think of, and I'll show you later how to add more to that list. So the other thing I want to fix, I notice, is that this column is not quite wide enough, so I'm just going to make it a bit wider so that it shows the word properly. Now what you'll notice is in the top left hand cell there, when I click on this cell and any cell underneath, a little pop-up arrow comes up when you click on it. This allows you to choose the crop that you're going to work with. Okay, and this list, as I just showed you, is coming from the other tab. So basically if you do update this list you need to go back and check that it's actually working. So let's, for example, just make a random addition to corn. Okay, if I go back to the master sheet, click my down arrow, see what's happened. Now you see there the corn has changed. That's good. Let's just check another cell. Scroll down. Corn's changed. So basically one change to the list means that all of these drop down lists automatically update. So it's really easy to use. I'll just go and undo this. Okay, there is a little key here on the right hand side, and what this key is showing is that when you click on a cell under July, August, September, October and so on, you can then choose something from this list. Okay, so G is sown greenhouse, sown shade house, direct sown beds, transplant out and harvest. And so when you click one of those you will get it to show the letter and the color. I don't know what happened to my zoom. Is it hopefully easier to see. Okay, now if you are happy with these being little squares and all this being fine like it is, great. There's not too much other stuff to change at the moment. Variety doesn't have a drop down. Succession does, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 15. If you do want to update this list, I'll show you how. You need to go onto data and find validation. Data validation, there it is over there. So we click on data validation. Okay, and it shows you the settings at the moment, 1 to 15. So to change it, you can just go in there and put in 16, 17, 20, whatever, up to whatever you want. Okay, and that's how this was created. Now for this, let's say for example I do make it go up to 20. It says they apply these changes to all other cells with the same settings. Let's choose that to see if it will actually work. It's highlighted the whole column, so it knows that this validation's been used on all this whole column. So click OK, and we'll just go to a random cell and see if it has actually worked. There you go, it's up to 20. So that's very simple to do. Now, the other thing to do is to show you how to delete stuff. So I'm just clicking and dragging to highlight and pressing the delete key. Okay, do that one more time. Ooh. Likes capital G. So did you see what was happening there? I was typing in a random letter and it doesn't let me. Okay, that's because there's another data validation on all of these cells. From there all the way across and down. So what I should probably show you is how to change that if you need to, for example. So if you don't like my colors, you don't like my letters that I've used as a key, or you want to add one or delete one or whatever, I'll show you quickly how to do that. So click on the top left hand cell, go back to data validation. Here you can see that I've allowed a list and I've given the source to be G, S, D, T, and H. Now I could allow little letters of that if I want to. That would prevent it giving an error, or maybe it's easier for you to enter. You don't have to press down shift all the time or have caps lock on. So you could have the little lowercase G, S, D, T, H there if you want to. Let's see if clicking this. Yeah, that will help you do the changes to all of them, which is great. The input message, there is no input message at the moment, but you could write one there. And the error alert basically stops you from carrying on without making the error right, without deleting if you've put in the wrong letter or something. Okay, so we'll click OK on that. Delete that one. Okay, so when you're happy with the master sheet, then we're going to make a copy. If you do, by the way, want to change the order of the months up the top, you can move those around and change them. I've put the color coding according to being in the southern hemisphere, so the bluer colors denote it being winter and colder, and the bright orange is our summer. It's the hottest time. So once the master's completely updated and how you like it to look, we'll then delete the other two tabs. Just delete them quickly. Right click, delete. And then what we need to do with the master is make a copy of it. So right click and go to copy. We want it before the veg sheet, and we click on create copy. Click OK. And then you see it's called master 2. And I'd like to rename that. Okay, it has renamed it. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll leave the master like it is. Master is called the master because that's your template. So you want to now be working on the current year's tab. Okay, I'm just going to save this so that it's in case it does crash. So how to actually use this and put data in? Well, go to the crop and choose the crop that you're planning to grow. So say for example you're going to grow a whole lot of beans. Well, I'll choose something I can grow in winter. So here in winter we can grow lettuce, for example, and you choose a variety. So it might be a curly, something like that. Succession will be your number one to start with, and I am in June still at the moment, but maybe I'm going to start at the beginning of July. So I'm going to sow them in the greenhouse in a tray, and they might be in the tray for, let's say, 3 or 4 weeks. I'm not too sure how quickly they'll grow. And then if they take 4 weeks to be ready for planting out, well then I will try and plant them out in August, and they will then grow for, who knows, I mean it might take another sort of 4 months. So what you can do, if it's going to take you 4 weeks, can just have this cell selected, and you see this little square on the bottom right hand corner, I can just click and drag that across, and that basically is the same as copying and pasting. So say for example it takes 4 weeks after transplanting for them then to be ready, so in September I will do the first harvest, and maybe I will harvest for 2 weeks, let's say. Now if the whole point of this plan is that we can do the plan for a succession to happen, so that we then have lettuce available ready to eat also in the 3rd and 4th week of September. So I'm just going to choose these again. Now if you find clicking and scrolling down pain in the butt, the other method is what I said show before, is just to find the little square and drag it down. I like doing that because it's a lot quicker. Now also I don't like the numbers in the right hand side, so I'm just going to click this whole column and I'm going to center align it. So find the center align tool. That's better. So if my second lot of lettuce is going to take exactly the same amount of time to be planted and everything, well that means I choose to sow it in the greenhouse again for 4 weeks, and choose T for another 4 weeks, and then choose harvest for 2 weeks. Okay, let's do this again. We'll do a sort of 5 for this one, just to show you how it's working. 3 and 4, 5. Okay, but what you might find is that as the winter starts to come to an end, is that it might not need so much time in the greenhouse. So instead of starting here 2 weeks after this one, I might start I might wait 3 weeks, because I know that they're going to grow quicker. So I know that they're only going to take 3 weeks to be ready. And it might be the same case with transplanting very soon. We might only need them transplanted for 3 weeks, and then we're able to do a harvest. Okay, so what you'll see now is that I have an overlap because I haven't forethought it 100% through. As I've been doing, I've gone, oh, okay, yeah. There's been a reduction in the growing time in the greenhouse, but also outside as well. So I didn't quite account for that. So what you're going to have to do then is select all of these. So click on the first one, hold down Shift on your keyboard, click the last one. That selects all of them. And click and drag. So I'm just going to click and drag across by one. Now that's actually taken away the drop down there, but that doesn't really matter. So this is now the beauty of the tool, is that you can you now know to plant in the first week of July, the third week of July, and the third week of August, in order to get lettuce each week from the beginning of September until the middle of October, and you'll get the idea now. So I might do a copy of this one and paste it underneath, and pretty much do the same over here. But maybe now it's really warmed up a bit, so I don't need I only need 2 weeks in the greenhouse and say 3 weeks there, so that's easy. And so now I have fresh lettuce there, and you can basically keep going all the way through summer as long as you can grow lettuce for. We kind of probably have to stop somewhere around here because it starts to bolt. It's too hot. And then you go and do your next one. So you might say that you're going to plant out something else that can grow in winter. Yes. I don't know the variety, so whatever, X, Y, Z, U, Z. And then you start again your succession. Okay, so I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. What you can do with this is you can type in a 2 and select 1 and 2 and drag down. Then Excel knows that you want to do a series. And then I choose when I'm going to start planting. For this one, we don't need to sow them in the greenhouse, so we're going to direct sow. Basically just need maybe a slight break in the weather, otherwise they're just going to take longer to germinate, but we direct sow them, and then they probably take, well, you basically got to put in here how long it takes for them to grow before you think you might get a harvest. So they will germinate, and then during the winter they kind of just sit and not do much, and then as the warm weather comes, this is quite hard to predict, then the warm weather will come and then you'll start to get a harvest. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So to do the succession on this one is probably a bit more difficult. I mean, sweet peas is something that you could easily have a glut of sweet peas and just put them in the freezer. Quite easy. If you think you've got this quite accurate, well then you could just copy and paste it